There's a difference between stacking random gear on your desk and building a creative setup that feels like one connected ecosystem. Because once everything starts talking to each other seamlessly, your workflow changes immensely. Your streams feel smoother, your content process gets faster, and honestly, creating just becomes more fun. So today we're diving into what I think is one of Elgato's biggest shifts yet with the new Wave ecosystem and WaveFX platform. And this, I think you're going to find pretty interesting. Elgato has introduced an entirely new lineup of creator-focused devices powered by their new WaveFX processor. It's designed to work together as one unified ecosystem. And what makes this different is that the processing is happening directly on the hardware itself. We're talking about onboard DSP processing, VST plugin integration, and their new ClipGuard 2.0 technology, all without leaning heavily on your PC's CPU. And alongside all of this, they also launched WaveLink 3.0 or 3.1 because they've updated, which is now completely free for everyone to use, by the way, giving creators a full audio routing and mixing environment that ties the entire ecosystem together. Now that changes things. This setup is trying to centralize everything: your mic processing, your routing, your monitoring, your stream controls, your app controls, your effects, all inside one ecosystem. And if Elgato pulls this off properly, this could genuinely streamline a creator's entire workflow. Now, full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Elgato, and they did send some devices over for me to test out to share with you guys. But shout out to Elgato because they basically told me, do what you want, say what you want, which is dangerous because now I get to roast them if that's what I feel like doing and talk my trash smack talk. What? Thankfully for them, this has actually been pretty fantastic and impressive. And honestly, I think a lot of creators out there are going to really love where they're kind of heading with this whole entire ecosystem. So where exactly can you find the new WaveFX processor? It's built into the Wave 3 Mark.2 condenser microphone, the Wave XLR Mark.2, the Wave XLR Pro, the Wave XLR dock for the Stream Deck Plus. Now, none of the Stream Decks have the WaveFX processor, but that will be your control layer that will control everything that the WaveFX can do for you in your ecosystem. Now, the crazy thing here is you only need one of those WaveFX enabled devices to unlock the ecosystem features, just one. And for me, that led to pretty much a major desk overhaul. I ended up replacing my Mono PD200W setup, my Ulanzi deck dock for controlling things, and my Mono AME2 Gen 2. And in its place for my setup, I went with the Wave DX as my default dynamic microphone, the Wave XLR Mark.2 as the audio brain of the entire ecosystem, and the Stream Deck XL as the master control surface for everything. Oh, and let's not forget WaveLink 3.0, which ties everything together. And the question I had going into this was simple. Can this setup actually improve my real-world workflow? Can it make managing audio, content creation, streaming controls, and software interactions easier? Because right now there are a few pain points that I've encountered with my current system, or the one I just swapped out. Now, the problems I wanted to solve was one, control management. Now, don't get me wrong, the Stream Deck dock that I was using by Ulanzi was good, and it definitely was useful for a lot of those things. But with smaller decks, you eventually run into limitations. You start bouncing between folders, pages, constantly digging through layers just to find a specific command or function that you need. And over time, that just kind of slows you down, especially during live streams. The second was audio processing latency. Now, once you start stacking plugins, effects, compression, EQ, noise suppression, you name it, you can absolutely start introducing delay in your monitoring chain and in your playback. So I wanted to know if this ecosystem could simplify all of those things. Now, setting the system up was honestly pretty straightforward, and one thing I really wanted to do with this new setup is have a cleaner desk setup. Less clutter, less hardware stacking, less chaos, and surprisingly, this actually helped. I was pretty messy. What? Even though the Stream Deck XL is large, it still ended up being smaller than the Mono AME2 Gen 2 setup. And since my desk doubles as a content creation setup, a work from home setup and an environment for testing gear right here in your face, I needed something flexible enough to handle all of those things. The real customization starts when you start audio routing with the Stream Deck configurations and the WaveLink application. And that's where the ecosystem fully opens up. Now, in my setup for the microphone, I went with the Wave DX. And with this microphone, the first thing I noticed was how naturally warm and detailed it sounded. The capsule itself was developed in partnership with Lewitt, so you're getting some good technology here. You also get an internal pop filter, excellent vocal clarity, a strong background noise rejection, which makes it really solid for streaming and content creation environments, especially if your room isn't acoustically sound or perfect. The real brain behind this, the Wave XLR MK.2. Now, this is where the magic starts to really happen. Because of the onboard WaveFX processor, you can run hardware-based DSP effects directly from the interface itself. Things like EQ, compressor, expander, low-cut filters, voice processing, and VST integrations, all while relieving the load of your PC having to process any of that. Then there's ClipGuard 2.0, which honestly is one of the coolest parts of this entire setup. If your audio suddenly peaks or clips, ClipGuard dynamically scales the signal before distortion reaches your computer or your final output, basically acting like a safety net for your audio. Here I am with the Wave DX right now, and I'm going to try to clip this microphone as we speak. So basically, if I try to clip it and talk loud into my microphone, I won't be able to clip it no matter what I do. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Watch your ears. Too late, what? So the coolest thing I found about this little dock here is setting your auto gain. And to set your auto gain, all you have to do is hold this down for just a few seconds, and you're going to see it starts at the beginning of the dial, and you just talk normally at the normal level you would talk, just to get a feel for what the mic is going to be taking in, and that way it knows what gain level to set it as. And there you go. It has set my gain at a pretty good level. And if I switch over here, you'll see that that's actually pretty nice. It's right up in the yellow, almost tapping red. So pretty good with as far as setting auto gain levels. So if you're not sure of what your gain levels should be in life, this will do a fantastic job at setting the gain levels for you at your specific speaking volume. Now, the real reason this ecosystem works so well is WaveLink 3.0. This is where all of your routing, your monitoring, your effects, your source management comes together. And honestly, this software is incredibly powerful. You can individually manage your microphone, games, browsers, music, Discord, chat audio, stream mixes, monitoring mixes. It just keeps going. And you can actually group a lot of those sources together to control as a group. And one thing I really like is that you're not locked into Elgato microphones. You can use basically any XLR microphone with this ecosystem plugged into your XLR MK.2 and take advantage of the WaveLink processing features. So after you have configured your device and you're ready to go and you got the audio and effects and everything that you like, you can make a switch over to your mixes, and then you can introduce all of your input sources from your microphone to your PC sounds, to your game, to your chats, you name it. The power here is in your hands, and there is a lot of power in this particular routing table. Basically, I actually went ahead and ran an emulator, and as soon as I ran it, I was able to see it in one of the channel options here. So I clicked create channel, and I was actually able to run an emulator here as well and add this to my mix. As you can see, my personal mix, my stream mix, fantastic. And this is the emulator right here, which is Metroid Fusion, and I can control it individually from my stream mix and likewise from my personal mix and make it louder or make it lower like such. So pretty cool. And of course, you can add this to your Stream Deck as well. And then we get to the Stream Deck XL. This thing is an absolute control monster. You get 32 customizable LCD keys, nice resolution on those, multi-action workflows, folders and profiles, deep software integrations, and direct WaveLink controls. And once you start building workflows around it, You realize how much time you waste normally with apps and navigating menus and alt-tabbing all over the place. Now you have OBS controls, media controls, camera switching, audio routing, sound effects, lighting controls, editing shortcuts, you name it. I could just keep going. There's possibilities of how you get creative with this. It's almost infinite, right? You got to die at some point. What? My overall experience after using this setup, well, the biggest thing I noticed was how much smoother everything felt. I spent less time troubleshooting and less time navigating windows and looking for resources and stuff like that, and more time actually creating. The real-time processing feels fantastic. The audio controls are super granular, and the ecosystem integration genuinely just feels, I guess it feels more cohesive now. I keep discovering new ways to configure the Stream Deck and new tools to use with their giant marketplace that they have, world-class marketplace. Now, yes, this is definitely not cheap, and realistically, not everyone needs this level of control. But if you're someone creating constantly, streaming regularly, editing videos constantly the way I am, managing multiple applications all the time, multiple workflows, work from home, streaming, I can absolutely see where the value here lies, because once the ecosystem is dialed in, which is going to take you some time, there's a lot going on, you're probably not thinking about upgrading again, probably for a long time. And if you want to check out the new Wave line of devices that I've discussed in this video, this entire setup, go ahead and check the links in the description. I got all that stuff down there for you. Thanks again to Elgato for sponsoring this video, and well, I'll catch you in the next one. Later.